join Councilmember Osborne in the Pledge of Allegiance and stay standing for the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, it is known that from your mouth comes wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Please bless us with these gifts and guide our paths. May our city benefit from your grace, and may we all find health and happiness. We lift up all the high school and college graduates during this season. May their future be bright, may their knowledge be strong, and may they never stop having a curiosity to know more. Please always grant protection to those whom serve and bring joy with the rising sun. Lastly, Father, I thank you personally for the honor it has been serving on this council, learning from so many, loving our team, and doing the best I could to help my fellow man. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilman Osborne. And that is your last prayer, isn't it, for the time? Yes. Well, thank you. It was well done. We're all present this evening, so we'll go to the communication items and a little bit of change in the agenda. We only have 4 items tonight and not 5. So the first 2 items are proclamations, so I'm going to start by presenting those. So let me see what we're going to start there. So is Estrella the first one? Yes. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to go down and read the proclamation. Do we have somebody here representing as we read that? Oh, how about coming forward, please? Good evening. Thank you so much for coming. Could you just tell them what school is, elementary, your name?
This is Estrella Mountain Elementary School and the IB Academy at Estrella Mountain.
Well, thank you for coming. In recognition, this is really a big deal, so I want you to know this is a big deal. In recognition of an A+ school excellence, Estrella Elementary School. Whereas Estrella Elementary School has a strong commitment to academic excellence and has delivered quality education to thousands of students from the community since 1989. Wow. Whereas Estrella Mountain Elementary School meets rigorous teaching and learning standards for a strong student achievement results, where Estrella Mountain Elementary School demonstrates innovation in classroom, instruction, and programs. And whereas Estrella Mountain Elementary School encourages fair and just and open-minded, caring and balanced reflective learning. And whereas Estrella Mountain Elementary School provides more than a dozen extracurricular educational and athletic opportunities outside the classroom throughout the year. Really? A dozen extra? Fantastic. Whereas Estrella Mountain Elementary School has implemented the use of goals through extensive collaborative involvement of parents and the community. It takes all of us, doesn't it? Whereas the City of Goodyear supports your efforts to unify all the stakeholders, the students, the parents, staff, volunteers, and a broader community to assure the continuous improvement. So, therefore, it be resolved that I, Georgia Lohr, the mayor of the City of Goodyear, Arizona, we do recognize Estrella Mountain Elementary School as an A+ of excellence. And thank you for the continued partnership, leadership, and dedication to our community. Given on my hand in this free United States on the 9th of May, 2018, to which I have caused the seal of the City of Goodyear to be affixed and have made this proclamation public. Congratulations.
Okay, now she asked me to say a few words, and I did not prepare for this, but if you have not visited our school, I invite all of you to come see what we offer our kids. I was just talking to Mrs. Laurentano, and she says she talks to people all the time, and they're always saying, this is a public school, and you offer all these things, and we do. So anytime, call me up. Come out and see us, and we can wow you because we have a great school, and it is in the City of Goodyear.
Thank you. Before we're going to take the moment, because if council would like to say anything, you know, we talk about the schools and how they perform. We hear our public, some say, oh, well, I don't think your schools are doing well. We see things in the newspaper. Well, we know what they're doing. So any comments from you? Bill?
You know, I think it's great that we recognize our schools, especially when they, you know, achieve this status. Something that we don't take for granted, and I think you'll find that everyone on the council is very appreciative of the work that you and your entire staff do to educate our children and our future, but it also helps us as a city to have a great place like Estrella Mountain Elementary School. So thank you very much.
Any other comments? Yes. Yes, you all had your hand up. Yes. Joanne?
Well, thank you for your commitment to excellence for our kids, for your kids. And, you know, it's something that we get to brag about as having great schools in our city. So thank you very much.
Joe? Joe?
You know, you're training our future leaders. I just wish some of our leaders in the state realize that and take care of this issue called education. But again, as a fellow teacher, adjunct professor at a university, really appreciate all that you do. And an A+ doesn't get any better than that. Thank you.
Brandon?
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much. I mean, having a great school is definitely a good thing for the residents here and also attracts other residents to the city. So I know employers look for a great school, and I appreciate you working hard to make the school the best it can be, and also, teaching our children to at the highest level. So thank you.
Sherry?
I want to thank you. For those that don't know, I have one graduate and one graduate by the end of this week from Estrella Mountain. So thank you for educating my children. Thank you to all the teachers that are just wonderful. Some of them have been there for years. The staff, they're so supportive. And for those of you that don't know, I'm going to brag for just a second. I think that's why the mayor saved me for near the end, is they have everything. The 8th grades right now at Catalina, they go to Astro Camp for science. They go river rafting. They go desert survival. They have art club. They have a coding class. They have foreign language, Spanish. I could go on and on. They have Lego robotics. You look at all the stuff that these children are learning, and they have honors classes that I am just absolutely thrilled and excited that not only do we have that in Goodyear, but it is one of our local schools that these kids can go walk to school, you know, and be with the same kids and learn at such a high level. So I really do thank you for preparing my children for the next step, because I know that you and your staff have done a great job. So I'm indebted to you. So thank you.
Wally?
I'll just add thank you too, and I want to thank the kids who have worked so hard, who are so enthusiastic with your wonderful teachers, and thank you for inspiring them and teaching them that they all have dreams and they can achieve them. But we're very proud to have that school in Goodyear, and I'm sure you're going to be hearing from a lot of parents thanking you as we are.
Well, thank you, and please take these messages back to your school. All right, thank you very much. Let's give her a round of applause. The next item is the National Kids to Park Day recognition. Will those for the National Kids to Parks please come forward? Do we have some children here tonight? We don't, but you're a big kid, aren't you? Well, this is Michael Beadle. He's the recreation superintendent, and after I finish, he's going to kind of give an overview. Is that correct? All right, I have to set this down just a second. Okay. Are you ready? I'm ready. I know you are. Kids Park Day, May 19, 2018. Whereas May 19th, 2018 is the 8th Kids to Park Day organized and launched by the National Park Trust, held annually on the 3rd Saturday of May. Whereas Kids to Park Day empowers kids and they encourage families to get outdoors and visit American parks. Whereas it is important to introduce the new generation to our nation's park. We should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat the issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol. Whereas Kids Park Day is open to all children and adults across the country to encourage a large and diverse group of participants. Whereas to Parks Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and outdoors. So gladly, now therefore, I, Georgia Lord, Mayor of the City of Goodyear, Arizona, do here proclaim May 19th, 2018 as a Kids to Park Day and urge residents of Goodyear to make time to take their children and their lives to the neighborhood streets, state, national park. Given under my hand in this free United States in the city of Goodyear, Arizona on the 14th day of May, 2018, to which have I caused the seal of the city of Goodyear to be affixed and made this proclamation public. Congratulations, and we're anxious to hear what you have to say today. Thank you for waiting, Michael.
problem.
You're on.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you tonight. As the Mayor just read, we have an exciting event coming up called National Kids to Park Day. This is an annual event that we support, and it's just a great event. It's a great kickoff to summer. It's a great jump into summer to where kids are getting out of school. They need places to go, they need things to do, and it's just a good reminder to all families in the community that, hey, our parks are open, our parks are free, and they're a whole lot of fun too. So we like to encourage our kids to get out to the event. Just to give you a little bit of background on the event, it is sponsored through the National Park Trust. And the goal of the program is, again, to connect youth to parks. It's to get kids out from behind their screens during the summer and really get them engaged in the parks and show them that there's a lot of fun to be had out there in the world that doesn't involve a simulation of some kind behind a computer screen. So we want to get them to experience things firsthand, to have fun in our parks, to be engaged in our community, and that promotes future leaders. And so their motto is active kids are healthy kids, and we love that motto. We want our kids active in our community. So just to give you an idea of scope of the event, there were over 1 million kids and families that participated last year in the program. 456 mayors proclaimed Kids to Park Day last year, 22 governors, and there was actually a Senate resolution passed last year as well for the first time that proclaimed the third Saturday in May as National Kids to Parks Day. So it's a great thing for advocacy for the parks. It's a great thing to advocate for the kids in our community. So we're very excited to be a part of this program. We're supporting this program by hosting a local event. So we would like to invite you and invite the community out for a great day at the park at Goodyear Community Park. The event will be May 19th from 8 to 10 a.m. We are doing a little bit early, an event a little bit early in the morning. It is a little bit warm already in the valley for us, so no fear. We'll have lots of events that involve water. So we do like water balloon relays, we do kite flying, we do water balloon toss, and we also have the splash pad open during that time, and so kids can go and cool off, hang out at the splash pad, and then also have a little fun in the park as well. So we're very excited about this event. We're very excited for the kickoff to summer, and we can't wait to have this event this Saturday, and we hope to have you come out.
Well, thank you so much for coming before us and telling the public about this, because it is an eventful day. I think we've all dropped in on that day and really enjoyed it. And it is so important to move our kids out of the house, out of the TV area, and out of the computer, and out getting some exercise. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next item is Bill Rajewski, President of the Goodyear, and I may have killed that name, so you just have to correct me. President of the Goodyear Lions Club and other members will present an overview of the organization's activity and service projects completed in the city during the past year. Christina Plant, Neighborhood Services Coordinator, will present and introduce the speaker.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have the great pleasure of introducing some of our Goodyear Lions to share with you some of the great work they've been doing to serve Goodyear residents. And Bill Rajewski is here with some of his fellow Lions to give you a report.
Welcome. We
Thank you,
appreciate you
Christina.
coming tonight.
Thank you, Mayor Lord, members of the City Council, guests, and fellow Lions. My name is Bill Rajewski, and I am the president of the Goodyear Lions Club. Just a short history of Lions International. It is the largest service organization in the world with approximately 1.5 million members in 208 countries. Having recently celebrated our 100th centennial that the mayor gave us a proclamation for last year. Thank you again. The mission of the Lions Club around the world is site conservation. The Lions motto is "We serve," and if there is a need, there is a lion to do the work. The Goodyear Lions Club was chartered in May of 1945. Lions International was founded by Melvin Jones, an Arizona resident. A memorial park and museum is dedicated to him at Fort Thomas in Pima, Arizona. Lions membership is by invitation only. We would like to invite any of you to one of our meetings as a guest. Some of the yearly projects that the Goodyear Lions Club provides is eye screening and testing at Goodyear, Avondale, Tolson, and Pendergrass school districts. In the year 2017, we screened over 2,000 children. In 2018, we expect to screen 3,000 children. We have another project called White Cane. White Cane Drive is for site conservation. It is dedicated through Lions International that day or that month, set aside for site conservation. We hold it twice in October and in April. We collect monies, enable us to provide eye exams and glasses for needy children in the school districts that can't afford it. We sponsor 30 children a year or more from different districts to receive exams and glasses from the Lions Vision Center in Phoenix. Veterans events, we have veterans in the Lions Club, myself as a veteran, and there are other members of the club. We have it at local Fry's food stores in November and collect veterans for the day to go to the Luke Family Airmen's Fund, and that's a support to help spouses of deployed and their children that meets their needs. Another project that we provide in the Goodyear Avondale School District is Flags for First Graders. Yes. Held in February each year to promote patriotism and awareness of symbolics of the American flag. This past February, over 330 children from 7 Goodyear elementary schools participated in the past, each receiving a small American flag. Our last thing is school scholarships. The Goodyear Lions Club Foundation provides 8 school scholarships to the Avondale and Goodyear grammar schools. They will be given out to 8th graders that achieve academic success to help prepare them for high school. Lions members will be present at each school to present these. And another thing is what Lions do. Each month, the Goodyear Lions Foundation collects between 1,200 and 1,500 eyeglasses, sunglasses, hearing aids, phones, and from various locations in the Southwest Valley, and takes them to the Lions Vision Center in Phoenix to be cleaned and reused for distribution in third world countries for those in need. Sight First is a program that's a 10-year, $250 million eye program dedicated to research and cures for eye ailments. Excuse me. Another thing is diabetes awareness that the Lions Club sponsors worldwide. Another project that a lot of people don't know is about the Lions Club is sincerely in an effort about stamping out measles in Asia and Africa. And there's another project that the Lions are just sponsoring now. It's called Sight for Kids. It's called the Charity Miles website. Lions raised over $21,000 in the U.S. community for disaster relief through Lions International in such places as Yarnell as a fire. When they had the fire, the Lions Club there in Yarnell and Prescott called LCIF headquarters. In one day, they had funds available over $100,000. Wow. That's what Lions do in the community. In closing, thank you for letting me speak to you this evening about our clubs and hoping some of you may wish to join us in our efforts. Thank you, Mayor, for your time.
That was wonderful. Stay right there, Bill, because that is extraordinary, the amount of information you just gave us, and I think there's a lot of people out there that might not know. There's council comments? Yes, Wally?
Would you introduce Bill and Bob,
Okay.
please?
I have two members in rear, Lion Bill Jarrett and Lion by right.
Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight.
I want to thank you for all that you do because you're such an important service organization in our city, and you have made such a wonderful contribution to us. I would like to remind the residents of Goodyear that we have a Lions sight box in the Goodyear Library that you can drop off your used eyeglasses or eyeglass holders. And it's over in the Friends of the Library section, and we'd love to have you bring all of the eyeglasses you have so that they could provide more glasses to the children and the people less fortunate. But thank you so much for coming tonight.
Good. Again,
Another
thank you.
round of applause. Great service.
Thank you again for letting me speak.
All right, as I said earlier, the 4.4 has been pulled administratively this evening, so we're going to go to the communication of 4.5. And Julie Arundel, our city manager, will provide council with an update regarding the city's recent cybersecurity breach.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I wish this was better news, like our last number of communication items, but unfortunately, the city did experience a cybersecurity breach this last week, and so I wanted to provide not only Mayor and Council, but also any residents who may be listening our most recent information. So last Monday, May 7th, city staff were notified by a Goodyear resident that they believed their bank account information had been breached after making a payment to the online City of Goodyear payment system. So we immediately shut the system down in an abundance of caution. We reached out to our vendor because this is a third-party hosted system for them to, take a look at what was going on. On Tuesday, May 8th, we were notified by the company, their name is Superion, and their product called WebLogic, which is an Oracle product, had experienced a successful cyber breach. And they immediately began a forensic investigation, and law enforcement were contacted to open their own investigation. The forensic investigation completed by Superion has determined that credit and debit card payments that were processed online only, so you had to physically enter your information into the city's website from June 13th of 2017 through May 5th of 2018 may have been compromised through a credit card skimming operation. And so in essence, it skims the information that was manually entered through the website. So this would include credit card information, the CCV code, the expiration date, the name on the card, and perhaps the address. There was no information such as date of birth or social security numbers that were compromised as part of this potential breach. The good news is those that were not compromised, if there's good news, is that we have been able to now determine that any payments that were made in person, so if someone used a point of sale to buy a business license or permitting at development services, those were not impacted. Also, if someone made a payment through SurePay, through our automated phone system, through a bank-issued check, or made payments to Parks and Recreation, the Goodyear Ballpark, or the courts have not been impacted. So to recap, those that we believe have been impacted were those who manually entered credit card information to the online portal between those dates, June of 2017 and May of 2018. Throughout this process, your team's been working very diligently alongside our cybersecurity risk pool and also the vendor to help determine exactly what happened, and information was continuously evolving as we worked through last week. Throughout this ordeal, we issued alerts on the city's website. We also updated all of the social media platforms. And now that we have a better handle and understand better what happened, a general information letter is going out to all Goodyear residents through U.S. mail and also through email. A second letter will be issued for those specifically compromised, perhaps compromised as part of this breach. And that letter will be offering, for example, credit monitoring services and other ways to advise those residents to protect themselves. We had anticipated that we'd be able to turn back on our online credit and debit card system today, but as of right now, it's still ongoing vigorous testing, and we're confident it's going to be available tomorrow. The city takes protecting customer information seriously and will take all precautions to ensure safe transactions. Cybersecurity is a challenge to all organizations, and in fact, you may have read this morning that Chili's restaurants had to report that they'd been compromised earlier this year, and anyone who ate at the Chili's restaurant nationwide, I believe March and April, their information has been compromised. The city knows how distressing it is to have had this cyber attack our Goodyear customers, and we do sincerely apologize for the frustration and inconvenience it's caused. We are as frustrated and discouraged that the bad guys, so to say, seem to always be a step ahead of the good guys. Your staff have been working diligently, as I said, to resolve the situation, and I'd like to personally recognize and thank all of them. In essence, a crisis team was put together last week. Everything was dropped, and this was the sole focus of your team to protect our residents moving forward. So with that, we'd be glad to take any questions or comments from council.
Questions from anyone? Councilman Stipp?
I'm debating whether I should call her Julie or Mrs. Arundel, but anyway.
I think you can say Julie, isn't that correct?
That's fine with me.
Or city manager, that makes it easy.
Anyway, I want to thank you and staff for the amount of communication that you have provided to us. It was very difficult early on, but as time progressed, I think when more information became available, it was very easy for me as a council member to be in the community, knowing exactly what had happened. And I know you didn't do that alone. I'd like to think that, but I know you have a big staff behind you that worked on that. So I really appreciated the efforts of everyone on staff to help keep that information current in the public and moving forward. Unfortunately, as you pointed out, Chili's announced today, but you go back to even Equifax, one of the people that we turn our social security numbers into for credit reporting was hacked last year or the year before. So unfortunately, this is becoming more of the norm, and it was really only a matter of time. I know our IT folks would have preferred that it be never, but the reality is it's not a matter of if, it's when. So fortunately, we were able to identify it and can identify specifically who was done, and I think that's a pretty big achievement as well. So I just wanted to express my appreciation for everyone on staff and what they were able to do through this process, and how much it was appreciated by me anyway. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, Sherry?
I want to echo what Bill said, to thank you and the whole staff and the city staff for coming forward and trying to, get a hold on this and shutting it off immediately as soon as we thought there was a problem. I pay through that system, so I've been monitoring mine. I'm getting a new card. So I understand the frustration, and for me, this is probably, for one bank, the third or fourth card, because every time there's even a breach, they just close down my account and they send me a new one. So I think it's very important that people do always look at their statements and contact their banks and then let us know. For the credit monitoring, my understanding from talking to you is if you're one of those specific people whose information was breached, we're going to be paying for that?
That's correct, council members. So as part of our program, and we work with a company called Cyber Scout, we will be offering the credit monitoring services to the group of individuals that we know were impacted, at least through the breach. We don't know if anyone was compromised, but in an abundance of caution, everyone that may have been impacted during that period of time will receive a customized letter with very specific information on directing them how to access those services.
Thank you. I think that will help out a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Loretano. Councilman Osborne?
Well, I appreciate the quick thinking of when this first came to your attention and the fact that, it was immediately, we need to shut this down. But also using the tools that technology has given us on the good side of being able to try as quickly to get the information out to the public, because, we all know, as people have asked, well, what about other ways? And yes, you are going to do snail mail, as they say these days, but, you use the quickest form to try to get to the most people as soon as you could. And social media using television media, using whatever you were able to, and the website. I think that was really appreciated. But also the fact that you just mentioned another breach. Over the weekend, my debit card got hit. My first thought was, I was part of the city's situation, but it wasn't. I don't know. I'm not sure which one it is, but I know it wasn't the city's. And so, it just, unfortunately, that's where we are today. And it was amazing that, as we were hearing, some of the things that got quickly hit first are the little amounts that you don't necessarily notice so quick. But I know I didn't go anywhere with Uber. So, those are the kinds of ways that, hackers start to use your information. So I appreciate the thorough update to everyone and to the public. Thank you.
Any other comments? Councilman Hampton?
It's hard to add any more, but thank you to the team. Thank you to you for your quick response and helping the residents recover and move past it. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming tonight and giving that explanation to the public. It truly tells that we try to be as transparent as possible. So thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, now is the time for citizens who would like to address the City Council on any non-agenda items within the jurisdiction of the Goodyear City Council. Do we have any cards?
No, Mayor.
All right, well then let's just go on. So we'll go to the consent agenda. Will the city clerk please read consent agenda items 6.1 to 6.11 by title only?
6.1, approval of minutes. 6.2, amendment to IGA with the state of Arizona for fiber optic for ITS and traffic signal coordination. 6.3, new series 12 liquor license for Lucky Buddha Asian Restaurant. 6.4, new series 10 liquor license for Cobblestone Auto Spa and Market. 6.5, final plat for Estrella Commons Phase 1. 6.6, acceptance of Riggs Road special warranty deeds. 6.7, Centera Crossings Phase 2 waterline easement. 6.8, Lucero dedications related to offsite infrastructure. 6.9, final plat for Estrella Parcel 11.F2. 6.10, final plat for Estrella Parcel 11.G. 6.11, final plat for Estrella Parcel 11.C.
Thank you. Does anyone from the public wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Does anyone on council wish to remove an item from the consent agenda?
Just
a question? Oh, just a question? All right, Councilman Stipp?
Just a comment. Are any representatives from Lucky Buddha or Cobblestone here tonight?
There is for Lucky Buddha.
Just want to say thank you very much for your continued presence in the community. I frequent your restaurant, but it's always great when we've got the small businesses that continue to support our community. So thank you so much.
Any other comments? All right, then could I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion from Vice Mayor Campbell and a second from Councilman Loretano. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne? Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, we're on business, and I'd like to remind council to refrain from asking questions until the staff presentations are complete and there's a motion on the table. So 7.1, the first item on business is a public hearing to consider rezoning of the approved Pradera residential development. So I'm going to open the public hearing. Karen Craver, Planner 3, will be presenting. Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. The subject property is 160 acres at the northwest corner of Lower Buckeye and Citrus, and it goes north up to the Durango alignment. With the surrounding projects that you see there on the aerial, it is part of the West Goodyear area. The original final PAD was approved in 2006, and it had a mix of single-family detached homes as well as 114 court homes, and there was a total of 471 dwelling units. The current request is to rezone 72 of the acres from PAD to R14 hard zoning, and to rezone 88 of the acres from PAD to R16 hard zoning. But the total number of units is going to remain the same, and they will be utilizing the allowed reduction of the side yard setbacks. And this is how the split up of the two different zoning districts lays out on the property. As you all know, the new R1 and R16 zoning districts were created in 2017 to provide lot size and setback flexibility that typically was found in PADs. But with our zoning districts, that flexibility has to be earned through the addition of design elements. And Pradera will be providing amenity, connectivity, and streetscape design elements. And we have stipulations in this rezoning to ensure that they provide them, and then we'll work out the details during the platting process. And as you know, the goal of our new districts was to reduce the number of PADs with all sorts of different development standards and to create standards that could be used citywide, and we're working towards that. And the results are that the developer gets the flexibility they want, but we get the assurance of the quality of the design through those design elements. Several members of the neighborhood that you see there in the aerial that runs from Durango north up to Yuma and is on the west side of Citrus attended both the citizen review meeting and the P&Z meeting. And they had several concerns that they talked to us about, and they were that Durango would be 4 lanes. It will be 2 lanes, 1 lane in each direction. They were concerned that their property would be condemned to build Durango, but in fact, the 30 feet that Durango will be built in will come off of the Pradera site. They were also concerned about the canal road that you see there on the aerial. It's currently used as a shortcut for people in the surrounding area to get from Lower Buckeye up to Yuma Road. So they want to have that gated, and Pradera is working to do that as part of their RID plans. They were also concerned that the removal of tailwater from their current farming operations would be hindered as Durango was developed, but it will actually be incorporated into the RID canal that Durango is tiling and putting through their property. And because we knew of these neighborhood concerns, we took the Tom van out to the site. We went to the corner of Citrus and Durango, went out on May 1st, the evening of May 1st. And about half a dozen of the neighbors from that community came and met with us there on site, and we walked the Durango alignment, and we talked to them about what was being done on the property and where everything was being done, where the road would be, where that canal would be tiled, and how the tailwater would be handled. And staff and Pradera are continuing to work with these folks to ensure that their concerns are addressed through the development of the construction plans for Pradera. The rezoning from PAD to R14 and R16 is in conformance with the general plan and the city's zoning ordinance, and staff and the Planning Commission are recommending approval subject to the stipulations in the ordinance. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, and the applicant's representative is here as well and also has a PowerPoint presentation for you.
Thank you very much. Are there any speaker cards?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Art West? So as you come over, when you get to the microphone, please introduce yourself, tell us your address, and so you know how long you have. You'll see the lights up there, the yellow light and the yellow light, and the buzzer will let you know when you have 30 seconds left to speak. So before you do speak, please address yourself, okay?
Okay, my name is Art West. I live at 18012 West Durango in Goodyear, Arizona, 85338. That's on the north side of Durango, west side of Citrus Road in the county island. And I'd like to thank the mayor and the council for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Our neighborhood community has been trying to work with the city of Goodyear and the developers of the Pradera development since 2006, which back in those days was the Standard Pacific Homes was developing it. In July of 2006, our community submitted to the City of Goodyear a citizens petition with 34 signatures on the petition. In our petition, we were trying to outline our concerns as to the impact the Padera development would have on our existing community. The current design for Durango from Citrus to Perryville Road is a 30-foot wide road west of Citrus Road to the RID Lateral 8, and then from the Lateral 8, 60-foot wide or 30-foot wide road, depending on if the new developments on both sides of the road or one side of the road of Durango to Perryville Road. The current drawings show the design of the Durango west of Citrus as a future 30-foot right-of-way on the north side of the Padera property. This proposed future right-of-way would be on the Tenna and West properties. If/when the City of Goodyear decides to purchase the right-of-way from the Tenna and West families, the impact of these families would be significant. The north line of the proposed right-of-way is approximately 5 feet south of the Tenna's home. The west property is approximately 15 feet from the north line of the proposed right-of-way. The Tenna family has lived in their home since January of 1970. The West family have lived in their home since August of 1980. In addition to several parcels of land will be less than 1 acre, which is the minimum size for a single-family home in our zoning, which was laid out in 1 acre parcels for potential family homes. A domestic water line for the west property would have to be relocated. It's in the right-of-way, and permanent pasture fences would have to be removed and relocated. Several alternatives have been proposed to the City of Goodyear and Padera development to no avail. The only straight road leading from the new subdivision in the Goodyear Planning Department in this section to the main roads, Yuma or Lower Buckeye Roads, is the Durango Road between Citrus and Perryville. We have tried many times since 2006 to get the City of Goodyear Planning Department to plan for the future. I believe we all can agree that in a later date, when all the large farm landowners' property have been developed between Perryville and Citrus, well over 1,000 new homes, there will be a push to make the road the same width all the way through in the stoplights on Durango and Perryville roads, stoplights on Durango at Perryville and Citrus roads, which I already read in some paperwork tonight that when it gets 25%, you're going to be looking at that. We are asking the City of Goodyear to take the proposed right-of-way off the existing drawings and provide assurance they would not come back at a later date try to purchase a 30-foot right-of-way from the Tennas and the West families. Our neighborhood community feels that new development should fit into the existing community without being a burden to the property owners and affected development.
I'm going to allow him to finish his. You're almost done, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to allow him to go over his time. All right, go ahead.
I'm
Continue.
sorry. We've been working with Mr. Kelly Clark, Vice President of PMC Land and Entitlement Development, Ms. April Victorino, PE for Stantec, and Mr. Ken Craig of the Operations Manager for RID to find solutions to our concerns. Approximately 3 months ago, my chip seal driveway to my property was removed, approximately 1/4 of a mile long. The Roosevelt Irrigation District will not allow the infrastructure work to begin on RID Lateral 8 to begin until the annual dry-up, which is the 1st of November time frame. In the meantime, we are driving on a dirt road currently used by everyone working on the Padera property. This will probably last for over a year because you're looking at November plus all the infrastructure to get a road back in there. You can imagine the dust being raised from the traffic, even when driving slowly. This issue affects both the Tennas and the West family. Please get involved and do something to help fix this issue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Is the applicant ready to speak?
Should have a presentation coming up. In the meantime, good evening. My name is Taylor Earl. I'm attorney with Earl, Curley, and Lagarde. Our address is 3101 North Central Avenue for your record. I will walk through both a little bit about Padera and the rezoning, and then I'll talk about some of the efforts that we've done to address the concerns of Mr. West and the other neighbors there. So again, here's the property, as was mentioned earlier, so I won't spend time here. This is the rezoning that we're doing, so we're going from the left, which is the PAD, over the whole property, and then we're going into R16 and R14 categories. I show there phase 1. As I'll show you, phase 1 is not changing at all from its current orientation, from its current lot design. That stays exactly as it is. We are trying to proceed forward as quickly as possible. We're already out doing work on the property, doing dirt work. And this shows right, so on the left, that's our existing design, and you can see is in that phase 1 area, it's exactly the same. Use different coloring, but you can see that the lot configuration is the same. Where it's a little different is in phases 2 and 3. Part of that is removal of the court homes and to go into traditional single-family residential. Of course, this was done back about 12 years ago, so trying to keep updated with what the market's telling us that we'll do well out here. We want to see it do well. We know the city wants to see it do well. And if I'll go to this next slide, which just shows a tremendous amount of lot diversity. We're putting larger lots up by where the west property is up to the north on the northeast side. And then there's a lot of variety throughout the whole property to make sure that we have a good mix. And that diversity allows for lots of different types of home buyers and different preferences. So it's a very good design, and it's a lot more diversity than I'm used to seeing, frankly, in a lot of the developments that I do. So that's very good. We're exceeding a lot of the lot standards. So the blue goes to the blue and the orange goes to the orange on this chart. So you can see there the standard R16 and how we exceed that, both in terms of lot area, width, and depth. And then the same is true of the R14, that we're going above the standards that are there. And then on a lot of the other ones, we meet those. There's a possibility for reduced side setbacks, but again, those depend on those enhanced design requirements, which were put into the ordinance a short time ago by this council. So I wanted to address some of the things that was mentioned just recently. So this is that Canal Road, Castillo Lane. There is apparently existing traffic that's on that. It's not anything produced by Pradera, but there was a concern that people are using that as a cut through to get up to the north. And so that came to us at the neighborhood meeting. Right after the neighborhood meeting, we went to RID because they have an easement over that canal, so it can't just be done unilaterally. And we talked to them about this desire to have a gate put on there, and RID agreed that they would allow a gate to be put on there. So we will install it, but then RID would maintain it. This also shows a little bit of discussion of tailwater that was discussed. If you look at the blue property, that is currently where that tailwater is being collected. Our original plan showed to collect it at the same spot. But Mr. West had desire to have it be collected on his properties, or of the family properties, which you see outlined in the orange, the West family properties. And so just inside of that boundary line, just to the west of that blue property, is where it will continue to be, it will be collected and it'll be tiled. And then it will go underneath Citrus to that. There's an open ditch on the east side of Citrus. So that location is where Mr. West indicated he wanted to see it collected, and so we are going to do that. That has already been shown on RID's preliminary plans. And again, as Mr. West mentioned, that RID work can only be done during the dry up period. So our plan is to do it during this fall, that late October, early November when it dries up. Then you go in and you do all of your work. I wanted to talk a little bit about Durango. If you look at the top, that is the condition that it will be built when Pradera is built. The bottom is the City of Goodyear's standard minor collector street, which is at some point way down in the future, that is how this is designed. And I'm showing these together to illustrate one point, which is that in that condition after we build it, you'll see at the top I have circled 12 feet and 12 feet. That's one lane going in each direction. If you look at the bottom, you still see one lane going in each direction. So Mr. West has his concern is that the city would come in and say, hey, this 12 and one lane going each way is not enough. We want to condemn the west property and we want to install the rest of it. But all the city would get for its efforts is a turn lane and some bike lanes. It would not increase the roadway capacity. So the point is, at right now, as Pradera builds it, you're going to get the 2 lanes, which is all you would ever get. So I think it's highly, highly unlikely that the city would go out of its normal procedure, which is to wait until development occurs and condemn and build only to achieve a turn lane and some bike lanes, particularly in this area where there isn't going to be a need for that. And again, need. And again, this shows. Because Mr. West mentioned how close he gets to the property, I just want to be clear, that is if that northern half were built. And so where the Pradera portion is going to be built, you see that plotted on the aerial. So it is a great distance away from the properties. Again, that'll have the 2 lanes and a sidewalk, and so it'll serve it very well as in that condition. And I also want to be clear about some of the work that was done on Durango. That was pursuant to the development agreement for West Goodyear sewer and water infrastructure, which this council voted on to make sure that we're getting water and sewer water out there. But what we will agree to do is none of our people should be using Durango at all. and we've instructed them very clearly to not use that. They are coming off of Citrus and Lower Buckeye to be doing the work out there, but we will to make sure that the dust is not a problem until we can get it fully improved, is that we will have the watering truck come out there and make sure that it's being watered. And if that doesn't work, then we'll go out and put millings on it to make sure that we don't have a dust problem. As you know, the county is very closely controls dust, and we don't want that both for our own interest, but certainly we don't want it to be a problem with the neighbors. But I wanted to show you this picture to show that I know that we've been waiting for these properties to develop for a long time. I want you to let you know that we are moving forward. There's actual work being done. There are people out there. There's equipment being rented, and so we are moving forward. And we have a great desire to see Durango be improved along with the rest of Pradera to be fully improved and to start getting homes and people living there. And so we're excited about this opportunity to really move forward. So with that, I'd happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. We're going to proceed. And if there's any questions, we'll call you and ask you to answer them, okay? Thank you. All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. And will the city clerk please read ordinance number 2018-1385 by title only?
Adopt ordinance number 2018-1385, conditionally rezoning approximately 160.78 gross acres located at the northwest corner of Citrus Road and Lower Buckeye Road, known as Pradera, by rezoning approximately 72.50 acres from final planned area development PAD zoning to R14 single-family detached residential zoning, and by rezoning approximately 88.28 acres from final planned area development PAD zoning to R16 single-family detached residential zoning, amending the zoning map of the city of Goodyear, providing for non-abridgment, providing for corrections, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for penalties.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Stiff and a second by Councilman Hampton. Open for council discussion. Who would like to start on this side? Anybody?
Yeah.
Councilman Hampton.
So yeah, I just want to say thank you to the developer and for working with the residents in the area and coming up with varied solutions to the issues, and also the city staff for going out and talking to the residents. That's what the Tom Van's for, so I appreciate the use of that as well. And yeah, actually walking the area and working with the residents. So thank you. I think it'll be a good development, and I look forward to it being started and more residents moving in. So thank you.
Any other comments? Councilman Stiff?
You know, this development has been on the books for a number of years, and I think just the concept of modernizing it to meet today's market is very important. This isn't the first project that has come before us to do this, and I know it's not the last one because we've got another one, I think, next week when we come back together. So I do. But one of the things that we always run into conflict with is between the city and the county, and how we are able to respond to that. And I appreciate the developers and their agents' willingness to try to resolve as many of the issues as they possibly can to coincide with the existing neighborhood while development comes into what was once a very rural area. I think you look at the 1 acre residential parcels. That is something that we certainly are not developing with any of the West Goodyear developments. And I guess the only concern that I have is the roadway condition that we've created with the addition of the construction that has started. I know the water truck is one solution, but that Durango is the major thoroughfare for that county area, and I would just as soon us not wait until the problem becomes a dust problem, that we try to be a little bit more proactive. So I would like to see the milling situation occur quicker rather than we're going to deal with it when it's a problem. I think we all know what happens. I mean, we just saw it 2 days ago when the winds kicked up. Dust is always a problem. And I know your construction crews may or may not be using it, but the neighbors that we have are using it. So I don't know if it's possible for us to, how do we indicate that through this process? So I guess I look to the attorney. Is that something we do during this? Is that a staff action? And whether there's council support for it, but I would like to see that happen sooner rather than later, and let's not let our neighbors to the north drive through mud and then maybe dust before we decide to turn that into a more temporary solution, because I think Mr. West is correct. It will be the better part of a year before that road is paved and finished.
Did you want the applicant to come forward? Or
No,
did you discuss? No.
I don't know how procedurally we do that and whether there's council support for it, but I'd like to see that happen.
Vice Mayor?
Well, I thought I was under the impression that the developer was going to begin to have attention to that roadway quicker than a year out. And I thought that having the water truck was a very good faith start. I mean,
I'm just, having been around, obviously, construction sites, the water truck is a very temporary solution, and we only will move to the milling component when, quote unquote, dust becomes a problem. And we all know dust will become a problem. So let's get ahead of it now and try to do something that's a little bit more proactive to try to keep the dust down. I mean, we've got obviously a pollution issue to deal with, but I think we also have a let's do right by the people that are going to endure the construction that we're going to create in their neighborhood. That's all.
Did you want someone to address that, or you're
I've
just
got a
making
question.
a
Yeah, I
statement?
want to address that.
Okay.
Mayor?
I've got a question for the engineer.
I just wait until she, excuse me.
I don't know that we can stipulate that if it's not in the agreement.
That's what I'm saying. Can we make it a stipulation with each of it?
Just make it Joe, twice the expense.
Yes, Roy, are you going to respond to this?
Might suggest we take give me a couple minutes to talk to the applicant on that. Would that be all right with the council? 5-minute recess?
And before you do, let me have Councilman Pizzillo say, because he had something in the same line. So could you just give your statement, and then we'll talk to the applicant.
Just got a question of Rebecca, real quick.
Rebecca, do not go far away on here.
Good thing it's not your leg.
Yeah.
Hello, Rebecca, on the county side for the air pollution, I assume they're monitoring this as this goes up and down, and after certain standards, they're going to jump in. Am I accurate on that?
You are correct. So Maricopa, our dust control rule is from Maricopa County, so what will be monitored throughout the process.
So at a certain level, if that dust is not under control, what does the county do at that point? Will they require the milling of that road to mitigate the dust?
They would come out and cite whosever property that is on, and they wouldn't tell you how to solve it, but they would tell you it's an issue and that you do need to mitigate so that there isn't dust.
Okay. That's my question.
That's your question. Councilman Osborne?
I'd actually like to wait to hear what the applicant and Rourke have.
Okay, so they'd like to hear from Rourke and the applicant. So would the applicant come? Rourke, you're going first. You're going to talk. All right, go back.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we take a 5-minute recess and let us chat about that?
All right,
real
I'm
quick?
going to recess this, 10 minutes?
Yep.
All right, this is meeting's recessed for 10 minutes. Can reconvene the meeting. So I'm going to turn it over to staff to see where we are.
Uh-oh. So I think Rourke is writing something.
Okay. We're still on the open discussion.
You are? Oh, my gosh. Could be. You should have got peanut butter. You should get peanut butter, not chives. Peanut butter is good for you. Diabetic, yeah. That gives you protein.
I will miss you. Don't you worry. You can make that off. I'll be on your neck.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
we did discuss the proposed, or the issue raised by Councilmember Stipp as far as the intervening condition of the roadway. Spoke to the applicant about a possible solution. They're willing to install a dust-free compacted milling on the roadway from Citrus to the western boundary of Mr. West's property line as soon as reasonably possible, working with city staff to get that done. So what we'd probably offer is a stipulation to that effect, and I can read that into the record if you'd like to offer that stipulation.
Yes, would you that? Because Bill, since Councilman Stipp was the one that suggested it, I'll let him be the one to take care of that.
Okay, and the stipulation would be that the applicant shall install a dust-free compacted milling surface from Citrus to the western boundary of Mr. West's property line as soon as reasonably possible.
Is that an amendment to the original motion? Or
Yes,
is this-
stipulation, so it'll be an amendment to the motion to add that stipulation, and then we'll vote on that separately.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion that we add that stipulation.
The stipulation that the lawyer read.
Is correct.
All right.
Is there
Okay.
a second?
I think we're done. I think we're done with the discussion. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
Now, so my voting, we haven't voted yet anyway.
we're gonna
this
vote
is-
on that.
We just roll this. We vote on that
We're
first?
going to vote on that amendment separately, so you'll just take a vote on that right
Okay.
now, then that will be rolled into the main motion if it passes.
Okay. All right, then I'm going to ask for a roll call vote for this
Amendment.
amendment. All right, roll call vote, please.
We need a second, Mayor.
Who was the
I heard a
second, Mayor?
second.
Oh, I had a,
Chair. Yeah.
thank you. We had a motion and a second by Councilman Moritano.
Okay, so the roll call vote, Vice Mayor Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Stipp,
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton,
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne,
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Mayor Lord,
Aye.
motion carries.
So now we have one more vote. So, so what do you want me to call this? We're just going to call on the ordinance, right? Okay, so let's have a roll call on the ordinance, please.
Vice Mayor Campbell,
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp,
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton,
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne,
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Mayor Lord,
Aye.
the motion carries.
Well, thank you very much for the applicant to work on this and the landowner. I think this is the way we would like to see things done, where we work together and cooperate. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to 7.6. Because we have people in the audience tonight on this item, I'm going to pull it forward. So we'll now go to the Library Assistant Program, IGA, with the Maricopa County Library District. And Diane Camacho, Management Assistant, will be presenting.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Diana Camacho, and I am the Management Assistant in the Parks and Recreation Department. Tonight, I am here to present an IGA for the Library Assistance Program with the Maricopa County Library District. Mayor and Council, as you are aware, in May of 2017, Goodyear entered into an IGA to operate the Goodyear Library in coordination with Maricopa County. This contract is still in force and is in effect until 2022. The IGA that I am presenting to you tonight will complement the current IGA and will allow Goodyear to accept additional funding from Maricopa County for additional library materials. In return, the Goodyear Branch Library will continue to provide library services to all Goodyear residents, as well as those living within Maricopa County. Before I get started, I would like to recognize Maricopa County staff that are with us this evening. Cindy Kolazinski, the Maricopa County Library District Director.
Please stand so they can see you.
And our very own Beth Medley, the Goodyear Branch Library Manager. Tonight I'll give you an overview of the Library Assistance Program and how it benefits Goodyear. The purpose of the Library Assistance Program is to enhance Goodyear's print and digital media collection at no cost to the city. By enhancing the collection, it allows for additional resources not only in our library, but also provides additional borrowing opportunities from sister libraries. The increased circulation will result in improvements to literacy, education, and enhanced access. So how does this program work? Maricopa County collects the library tax, which is used in two ways. Number one, it funds county-funded libraries, and secondly, it enhances material collections from municipal libraries within the county. After the tax is collected, the County Board of Supervisors sets the dollar amount for the Library Assistance Program. For FY19, the county has allotted $3 million of funding for this program, of which Goodyear will receive $58,440 in additional collection material based on the county's allocation formula. This allocation will change annually based on the county's criterion for funding allocation. And with that, I would ask that you consider approving an IGA for the Library Assistance Program. At this time, Mayor and Council, that concludes my presentation, and I welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak? All right. Could I have a motion and a second to approve the intergovernmental agreement, IGA, with the Maricopa County Library, MCLD, for acceptance of Library Assistant Program funds for the Goodyear Branch Library?
So moved.
Excuse me, the IGA,
Sorry.
I know it's very nice of you to be so anxious, but the IGA will cover the period of July 1, 2018 through June 30th, 2023. So I hear a motion from the Vice Mayor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Hampton. Open for council discussion. Yes, Councilman Osborne?
Thank you. Okay, so I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. Because I remember when we originally agreed to our convening together on this, this is not a new tax. This is already a tax that's already being, we all pay. This is just the mechanism for us to be able to receive for Goodyear the amounts we're already putting in, right? I mean, it's not nothing new. It's not being anything increased. So I just wanted to clarify that.
That is correct. The library tax does not change. What does change is now that the city is funding the operation, there is more money available for this program. So now we're also benefiting from it that way as well.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other? Okay, well, let's vote on it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, ladies, for coming tonight. We greatly appreciate it. I know you had to sit around for a while, but we tried to shorten it a little bit for you.
Should have brought a book.
Should have brought a book. Good one.
All right, we're at 7.2. On business is consider approving the preliminary plat for Crestwood at Canyon Trails. And of course, Karen Craver, Planner 3, is back with us. Hello, Karen.
Thank you, Mayor. The subject property is just off the northwest corner of Yuma and Cotton. 173rd Avenue along the west side currently exists down to Yuma, and Lilac, which is along the north side, currently exists and goes out to Cotton and aligns with Canyon Trails Boulevard. This really is an infill parcel in Canyon Trails in that that corner right at Yuma is a commercial parcel, so they're completing the residential development. There will be 90 single-family lots on 24 acres, so that's a density of about 3.75. And the minimum lot size will be 50 feet wide by 95 feet long. About 18% of the overall site is in open space, and this is the large central open space area. They'll have a ramada and picnic tables, benches, barbecues, and a large turf area. This is figure 1 from Crestwood's noise study that is referenced in stipulation number 3. And we have that stipulation because there are sound attenuation requirements in our zoning ordinance because of the proximity to the future 303. And how this works is ADOT's 12 to 16-foot walls that you see there in green, they'll get built if Crestwood pulls a building permit before ADOT's environmental study is completed, and that's slated for midsummer. Then Crestwood would only have to build the 6 and 8-foot walls that you see in red and yellow right around the lots. Now, if Crestwood doesn't pull a building permit before the ADOT study is approved, then the stipulation says that Crestwood will do a new noise study, and it's very possible that they may have to build the larger walls as opposed to ADOT having built them. And the preliminary plat is compatible with the surrounding area. It's consistent with the subdivision regs, and staff in the Planning and Zoning Commission are recommending approval of the preliminary plat.
Thank you. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody like to speak? All right, let's go on. Could I have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary plat for Crestwood at Canyon Trails, subdividing approximately 24 acres into 90 single-family lots and 11 tracts subject to stipulation? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I heard a motion by Councilman Stipp.
I'll do a second.
And a second by Councilman Hampton. That's great cooperation. Open for council discussion. Councilman Osborne.
Okay, so looking at what the future is, are homes next to a freeway, and it sounds like we're trying to decide who will be paying for a noise wall at some point in time, correct?
Correct.
I mean, you do a sound study this summer, I mean, the traffic is minimal compared to what it will be for the future. So what I guess I would like to ask of the applicant, or I'll ask you first, back to the ordinances that we currently have for sound attenuation in homes. It used to be that we would discuss certain levels of windows, certain aspects of the building of homes or apartments or whatever they may be next to a freeway area, you know, to help mitigate that. The wall is one thing, but, you know, the windows were other items. Could you address that, please? Or someone? Or Rebecca?
Our Director
Thank
of
you.
Engineering is here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Osborne. I appreciate your question, but when they do a noise study, they predict it and use modeling to have the noise that would be reached in, say, 2030 or 2035 when the actual freeway was done. So even though there's not noise there today, the model predicts what that noise will be, and they have monitors that are placed in areas that are the closest proximity that would have the most impact. And so I'm confident that the walls that are proposed would address any concerns as it relates to noise reaching the homes.
So, yes, but we have had other homes built within our city that did have better insulated walls and windows because of the proximity. Noise isn't the only thing. It's also just the pollution, everything else that goes being next to a freeway. So I'm thinking of our future citizens and the residents we'll have and the things that go with that. And I know that in the past we have stipulated those items, so that's why I'm asking about it.
I'm asking because I'm not so sure that's so. So can
Yes.
somebody address that? So she's put a question out there that.
So
go ahead.
So let me just jump in. From a noise perspective, the walls that are proposed will address the noises. If there's a concern about going above and beyond that, I would be happy to have the applicant come up and address that concern. But from what we can require, they meet the ADOT noise study requirements, and that's what we review too.
So is that something different? I guess that's the question. Is that something different than normal? Because I know in the past, we've had home builders that put in extra items along the freeways. And so that's what, I guess, I know it's occurred, but maybe what you're saying is that different than other homes that are built.
Yeah, and I question.
And I apologize, I don't know the answer to that question.
I understand that.
Councilman Osborne, at this time, and apologize, I'm from Mattamy Homes, the home builder. We have not determined our vertical building plan at this time. We're looking at a planned rezone for horizontal build, and I don't have that information available at this time to provide for you. It's certainly something that is a possibility, but I don't have that information. I don't work on the vertical side of our industry, or our company, and I can't speak.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm not a fan of homes against freeways, so I'm trying to find a way to say yes to you, and so that's why I'm asking these questions.
Certainly.
And I appreciate the wall. We certainly know what we've been through with Pebble Creek the last couple of years, and so I'm just seeing things that could eventually come and be prepared for it.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that there is a nature of open space that is part of this development with the flood control channel to the east of our property boundary. It's approximately, I would say, 200 to 250 feet that will be a natural open space buffer to the freeway. So we won't have a position where homes are right up against a wall that abuts the freeway.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for addressing that. I'm really curious on this because I've been on the council since 2005, and I do not remember us ever changing the R values in any of the homes. So prove me wrong.
Mayor, Council, thank you. The current city zoning ordinance has some requirements in section Article 9 about sound attenuation, and it talks about parallel to I-10 and also 303. And there is, you can see there in item B, in interior standards. And so it doesn't necessarily specifically call out construction types, but it talks about decibel, achieving certain decibels, and doing that through R30 insulation, dual glazed windows, solid wood, foam-filled fiberglass for metal doors and things of that nature. So that's the standard that we would hold the home products to as they move through the review process.
It's standards. That's what our standards are, and they never change. We never replace a window to say it's going by this, and we're going to add something new to it. It just is, and that's why
I do recall. No, I know that we have had builders that may have done those items, and that was what was brought to the forefront, that we know that this type of R rating will help with that. And so that was why I asked the question, because this was topics of discussion in the past. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? No other discussion? I think we're ready to vote on this.
Mayor, I got a quick question. Can you put that, Laney, I think it's the presentation that had, there you go. What is the open space between the orange line and the green line at the 303 there?
It's going to be the green.
That's the drainage channel.
The drainage area.
How big is that? How big is that space? That's 200 feet?
200 to 250 feet.
Give or take, I don't have the exact measurement in front of me.
No, but, okay.
And certainly ADOT's study isn't available, and we don't know their planning construction of the walls, but I can imagine that it would not cross over the flood.
So the orange line represents the 8-foot wall that you guys will build. The green represents the proposed potential ADOT 12 to 16-foot wall. And the distance between the orange line and the green line is plus or minus 200 feet.
It's schematic in nature, and like I said, we don't know the exact, but that's what my
but plus or minus 200 feet. Okay, thanks. I'm good, thanks.
Are we ready to vote? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
We have one opposition and the rest ayes. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate your information coming up. All right. So where am I? 7.3? No.
Yes. Yes.
7.3, all right. That item has been pulled. So 7.4 is to consider, business is to consider approving the IGA with Aqua Fria Union School District number 216 for school resources officer services. And we have our Jerry Geyer, our Chief of Police, to address us. Jerry?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. During a recent work session on school safety, you heard me talk about us being in conversations with the Agua Fria Union High School District about partial funding of our school resource officer. Up until this time, the city has always paid 100% of the salary and benefits for our SROs assigned to Goodyear schools. So tonight we're bringing forth an IGA, which will fund 50% of the salary and benefits for a 10-month school year for our SRO at Millennium High School. Also, as part of that IGA, the school district is including $500 to provide that SRO the opportunity to attend the National SRO Conference, which is held in the summer. So the total reimbursement to the city would be approximately $45,000 annually. We have also had discussions with the Agua Fria High School District to discuss partial funding for our SRO at Desert Edge the following fiscal year. And those discussions have been very positive. So it's staff recommendation to council to authorize the city manager to execute this IGA, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Does anybody in the audience want to speak? Right then, could I have a motion and a second to authorize the city manager or designee to execute the intergovernmental agreement, IGA, between Aqua Fria Union High School District and the city of Goodyear to provide a school resource officer services, SRO, to the district at Millennium High School? Excuse me, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I've heard a motion from Councilman Basillo and a second from Councilman Loretano. Open for council discussion. Councilman Loretano?
I just want to say thank you because taking the initiative and getting this done. So thank you very much.
Vice Mayor?
Oh, sorry.
I did say Vice Mayor, but he talked. I'm sorry, Joe, we said Vice Mayor.
I know you looked at me and I did.
I'm sorry, Chief. Thank you so much, Chief, for doing this. And we're just, we really want to thank Aqua Fria for stepping up and helping us do this so that we can have an SRO at all of our schools. And I appreciate you having the conversation, and please just keep it up.
Thank you.
Councilman Loretano?
You mean
Hello.
You mean
No, she wanted to talk, and I'm going to pass it back to you.
She already talked.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, now you got it. Councilman Pizzillo?
Hey, listen, I want to thank you. This is a great example of cooperation between the school and the police department, especially in today's environment. The SRs are a very important part in keeping our kids safe. So again, I appreciate the efforts, and I really appreciate the school district stepping up and helping as well. Thank you.
Any other? Yes, Councilman Osborne?
You know, these are the collaborations that we all search for, and I'm glad that Goodyear's leading the way and showing how it can benefit of all, and good job.
Anybody else before we go?
It's hard to add. Yeah, I'll go.
Councilman Hampton, I'm almost afraid to ask.
It's hard to add more, but yes, thank you. It's a great agreement, and it definitely helps the schools and the cities, and also I'm glad. Thank you for answering you pre-answered my question about Desert Edge too. So I'm glad that we're looking forward to that as well, and having all our schools with the school resource officer, because they do more than just protect the schools. They're involved in the community. They're helping the kids, and it's it's a good thing. So thank you.
Well, I'm just proud as a mayor that we were so proactive. Long before all the complaints came out, long before all the things were happening at the schools, you were on it. And so it's just great to see that we're adding to it. And you and the squad, all your members need to be congratulated for the safety that you keep our schools in and the city. So thank you. All right, so let's vote on that. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much, Chief. All right, 7.5, on business to consider adopting Resolution 2018-1870 and Ordinance 2018-1386, which will amend the City Code Article 6.6-3 and the municipal user fee schedule related to the municipal court fees. Crystal McCurry, Court Administrator, to present. Crystal?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's a pleasure to be before you for my very first agenda item before you. I'm here on behalf of the court, again, for your consideration to the amendment of Goodyear City Code Article 6.3, which is related to fees assessed by the municipal court. The first item for your consideration is related to Section 635, which is for the Court Enhancement Fund. As you know, this fund was first established in 1998 at the amount of $10, and as of last month, the fund celebrated its 20th year anniversary. And within that time, the court has not ever come to council requesting an increase of that fund. And we are now, what we did is we reviewed our fees and our current needs, and the fund currently brings in an average revenue of $44,000, but we do commit $40,000 of that to fund the ongoing cost of our court security guard. And so because the court is going through now mandated minimum security standards, we would request that the council consider increasing that fee from $10 to $20. And the second portion of the request from the court is related to Section 6-3 for the default fee, and Section 6-36, which I should mention in the court's staff report, we did make a typo and list that, so we would just ask that that correction be made from 635 to 636. Both of these fees were adopted by resolution in 2010 under the Goodyear user fee schedule. Those fees were increased back then, but the change didn't make its way back to the actual ordinance. So the court is asking that the council adopt a resolution to remove the fees from the user schedule and just allow them to be maintained under the Goodyear ordinance. And with that, I can take any questions from the council.
All right, thank you. We're going to vote on these in two different sessions on this one. So let's start them. Will the city clerk please read ordinance number 2018-1386 by title only, please?
Adopt ordinance number 2018-1386, amending Goodyear City Code Article 6-3 related to fees assessed by the municipal court, providing for corrections, severability, and an effective date.
Thank you. Could I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Osborne and a second by Councilman Hampton. Open for council discussion. Well, I've lived here for 20 years. I'm amazed. I can tell you there are things that I buy for food and you name it that's really increased much larger than that. So can't say this is a bad deal for people. I think it's right within giving them good service. All right, roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, will the city clerk please read resolution 2018-1870 by title only, please?
Adopt resolution number 2018-1870, amending the municipal user fee schedule by removing the municipal court fees and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Could I hear a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Vice Mayor Campbell and a second by Councilman Hampton. Open for council discussion? Yes, Councilman Osborne.
Let's hope that you don't go another 20 years without looking at this video.
I agree.
I thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good point. All right, roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, great. So let's go on to the final. Thank you very much. We're on the final countdown here. Council, you have any comments or combination reports to give tonight? No?
I
Okay.
have one. I have to do a point of pride. I just had my final college graduate Friday. My youngest graduated from U of A with her Bachelor's of Science of Agricultural Tech Management with an emphasis in teaching. So, yay, I'm done.
And she has a job already.
And she has a job, yes.
So, well, congratulations. I will say you and your husband have done a great job with your family. I know you were nominated Family of the Year at one time, and so it proves that you've raised, how many have you put through college? Four children through college. That takes great effort. Yes, Councilman Loretano.
I just want to thank Councilmember Osborne. I am not going to be here at the next meeting.
Oh, that's nice.
So I just want to say thank you for your service. I think you will do excellent wherever you go and whatever you do, and I hope good things for you. And our city has been very lucky, and I've been very lucky to sit with you on planning and zoning and here, and we will miss you. May not agree on every single issue, but I always respect you, and I always know you have the best for the citizens at heart. So I wish you well.
That's nice of you, Sherry. Thank you. Anybody else on? Nobody has anything? All right. Does the city manager have anything to report?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to give a brief recap of the EMS open house that we had on Saturday, May 12th. The Goodyear Fire Department hosted their annual EMS open house and had as many as 300 people who attended, and it was hosted at Fire Station 183. During the event, visitors were able to meet the crews, tour the fire trucks, see all the equipment that the firefighters use on a daily basis. And the kids also got to interact with the mascot, Sparky. And I know at least when I was there, that was probably the most popular moment. Visitors were invited to ask questions to the community risk reduction educators about smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, and proper child car seat installation. And there were also representatives from Parks and Recreation and Abrazo West Trauma Center who talked about their programs. Lastly, they also offered hands-on only CPR training for anyone that was interested. And overall, I thought it was a very successful event.
Thank you very much. Is there any staff summary follow-up from tonight at all that we had? There were some questions asked, but I think we cleared them up maybe right here at the meeting.
Yeah, Mayor, there were certainly some questions from the work session that staff will be following up on.
All right, great. And Council, do you have any inquiries of staff? Okay, do you have anything on a future agenda? Well, I'm going to give you one. We have talked about council salary. We have talked about looking at the possibility of raising the council salary as we all depart from our positions and more people come in, trying to attract the younger group as well. That, you know, I have retirement pay, and so, you know, I don't have the babysitters and I don't have the house income that most of you do. So we've talked about it. I know you thought you were, Joanne, you were going to suggest it before you left. You didn't, so I'm going to do it.
I did.
But what we're asking for is, of course, it would be decided by members of the public. We would have, what do you call it, an ad hoc meeting and run that through and look at the figures and do it fairly and equally and to see if in fact, that the residents felt that there would be a need, or they would like to do that. So that's what I'm going to throw out to you tonight. Okay? And not really throw out, state it to you, because it's a serious, it's on the agenda.
Thank you. We will work on that for you.
Okay, good. All right, anybody have anything else? All right, the next meeting will be a CFD meeting on May 21st, 2018 at 4:45 p.m., followed by a work session at 5 p.m. and a regular meeting at 6 p.m. And that is June 11, 2018. So no further business. This meeting is adjourned.